Hey guys, so every morning this week when I come out and I find these bugs laying around our front porch, lots of them, and oh my, I have about maybe 20 today. They're all over. Let me see if I can get real close to one. Some are still alive and some appear to be dead, and it's always around this area. Weird. Good morning guys. So today is Sunday, May the 22nd. It's 7 a.m. I haven't had any coffee yet, but we have to let the chickens loose. Oh, by the way, I have the bugs here. I counted about 30. So let's turn off the electrified fence so I don't get shocked. Yeah, the chicks are waiting for me. I can see them looking at me through the window. All wings on deck. Let's see who the first one is. Australorps. All 4 of them. And then El Guapo right behind them. Oh, they're as happy as can be. That was El Guapo, by the way. Oh yeah, they're flying. They're trying to fly everywhere. That's happiness there for you. And they're all super healthy. They're big. Oh yeah. Now a few people ask me, when do you think you're gonna have eggs? Well, for these chicks to mature, it takes anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So right around October, we should be having some eggs. That's when most of these breeds start to lay eggs, except for the Barnevelders. I read in an article that the Barnevelders can take up to 10 months to start laying eggs. So if that is the case, I really don't see Barnevelders laying anything until probably early December. As far as the chicks are concerned, everything is turning out better than expected. And if they're happy, I'm happy. Today, we're gonna plant all the plants, vegetables and herbs. Alright guys, so now I have a general idea where all my plants are gonna go. Now first of all, this is gonna be my wife's herb raised bed. Let me show you what I have. Thyme, basil, cilantro, oregano, sage, and rosemary. This is just her stuff right there. And over here, I'm gonna plant all my peppers, all of them, including the super hots over there and the squashes. And those 2 are butternut squashes. I'm gonna spread them out a little bit here, and they're gonna grow over the trellis to the other side over the next few months. Here, what do I have? I have Swiss chard, and I have kale. Is this a Russian kale? Russian white? No, just regular kale. And a few tomato plants that I ordered online. These are Cherokee purples, and as you know, I ordered them. They arrived weeks ago and they grew up too tall. Will they survive? I don't know, but I think they will. Here we have acorn squash and cucumbers. These 3 plants are going to grow over the trellis, as you see. And we have cabbage, red cabbage, and we have SunGuard cherry tomatoes. Now those 2 I'm gonna put here because they tend to grow very tall, and I can always tie them up against the trellis. And the rest of my tomatoes are here. This one is Aroma, San Marzano. My wife picked those, by the way. And these are celebrity tomatoes. So there's only one thing left to do. I need to start planting. And I'm gonna start with the squashes. Now before I start, I need to mention that raised beds can be considered a type of condensed gardening, meaning that the vegetables and plants on any raised bed can be planted closer together than you normally would on the ground. So I just need to mention that. Now you can plant squash 4 to 6 inches apart. Now here I have 2 plants, but I don't want to separate them because I may destroy the roots of one or the other. So I'm going to plant them as is. This is the butternut. I'm gonna put the label or the tag right next to it. And then at the end of my plantings, I'll come around and water them again. Now here's the other one. They seem to be a little bit farther apart, so I will break these apart. There we go. Now I have 2 plants. Again, 4 to 6 inches apart. And let the growing begin on my butternut. All right, let's move on to the other ones. And these are my acorn squash. I love acorn squash. My favorite. These, yeah, I'm gonna separate these. Perfect. It's one down. 2 to go. Wow, I have many here. So this is gonna be, yeah, I want to spread them apart. This one's gonna be tougher. Maybe I can get 3 out of this. I don't want to push my luck. All right, maybe I can. I'm gonna try anyway. All right. Okay. Okay, my cucumber is down, and now I'm gonna plant my cherry tomatoes. Now, I don't have a whole lot of space left here against the trellis for both cherry tomatoes, so I'm gonna do one. And one thing about tomatoes, you can plant them deep, okay? So I'm gonna take these off, and these as well. Now, the deeper you plant them, this stem will grow roots and the plant will become stronger, okay? This only applies to tomatoes, not to anything else, as far as I know. So again, plant them as low as you can. That way, it'll develop more roots. And the ground here is so soft that I don't need my tool. This tomato plant smells good. Oh, wait a minute. Let's plant it deeper. Maybe more. There we go. I almost forgot. See that? And then as it grows taller, you want to pinch off the bottom leaves so they don't touch the ground. But for now, this is outstanding. Okay, Put the label there, and I'm gonna put this one on the other side, at the other trellis. Okay, now I'm ready to go into the red cabbage. Now cabbage needs to be planted about 12 inches apart. So I'm gonna stagger them a little bit. So I'm gonna put one high, one low, this one higher, this one lower, etc. So they are a little bit more than 12 inches apart. See that? If you were to go in a straight line, you may struggle in finding those 12 inches, but if you stagger them like that, you'll be fine. Now you can use a measuring tape. There we have it. The cabbage is planted. All right, now I'm ready for tomatoes, and tomatoes should also be planted about 12 inches apart. Okay, it's done. And don't forget, plant your tomato plants deep so they get stronger. Okay, moving along. I'm done with these two beds. What am I gonna do now? Peppers. Let's do peppers.
My wristwatch is broken, my shoes are untied. Time is a-ticking, and so is the tide. But I am not worried, things are what they are. Come rain or come shine.
Okay, most of my peppers are done. Now here, I had to plant a little bit closer together than I would like. I ran out of space. But normally peppers you want to plant 12, 13 inches apart. I have two extras which I'm going to plant on another bed. And I also forgot, I have jalapenos. I have 6 jalapenos. And those I'm going to plant right there. Herbs. I'm going to plant herbs now. This is going to be my wife's raised bed. Her favorite.
I guess I've been lucky to some degree, for someone who ate all the fruit from the tree. Stars been aligned and my goose hanging high. I'll be
all right guys, so the herbs are planted. I left the labels by each plant, that way in the future I know what they are. I mean, I can recognize obviously the basil and the parsley, cilantro, but some of these things I don't know what they are. My wife uses them for cooking. Like, what is this? Rosemary. That way if she says, Ovi, I need some rosemary, go outside and get me some, and some sage. If I forget what they look like, at least the label will be there and I can recognize it. And believe me, that's happened a lot in the past. Okay, what's next? These plants. I had to make them all fit here on this bed. All right, I am ready. Jalapenos, my 2 King Arthur red peppers, Swiss chard, kale, and I left the 3 last tomato plants for the corner here. Why? I have a reason, but that's a topic for a different video.
I was born at morning on the first day of June, 1900 and something.
Now I'm almost done here. The kale and Swiss chard can be planted about 10 inches apart. This is more like a spring and autumn type of plant. They do great in October and November for both of them. So all my peppers, my 2 reds, and my 6 jalapenos are done. Now I'm gonna go and do my three tomatoes. Now, like I said earlier, what you're gonna do with tomatoes is you can plant them as deep as you can. Now this particular plant has a very long stem, and I'm gonna bury it into the dirt all the way up to here. You see that? So all of this down here will be underground and will grow roots and become stronger and produce more tomatoes. I'm gonna do the same with the other 2. So I'm gonna pinch off these leaves at the bottom, and I'm gonna plant it as deep as I can. All right, so this is a mint. I do not want to put a mint on a raised bed because the roots are spread all over, and you want to put this in its own container, and it could be like a 5-gallon bucket or something like that. I'm also going to find a different container for the lavenders for different reasons, and I just pretty much ran out of space up here. So yeah, that's for a different video. Okay, so one last step. I am going to water every single plant. Make sure that whatever you do, make sure that the water spreads all the way down to the roots. If it doesn't rain, I'm going to come out here every 2 days and do the same thing for like a week, and then after that the roots should be okay. You don't have to water as often. Especially tomatoes. After 2 weeks, tomatoes you should not water every day or every other day. Tomatoes should only be watered once a week if it doesn't rain. And the reason is because if you add too much water to a tomato plant, they'll just keep growing and growing and growing, produce a lot of leaves but no tomatoes. So be aware of that. All right, so all the plants have been deep watered, and I'll come back and do it in a couple of days. So yeah, this is something that's going to make me self-sufficient, and I enjoy growing. As you know, I've been growing for decades. I've had a garden in the city for decades, but this is the first time that I have raised beds, and I think it's going to be awesome this year. And I'm not done yet with raised beds, by the way. I am going to build this one, and this one's going to be special. You'll see. Give me a week or 2 and you'll see exactly what I'm going to do there. I already have plans for that. So guys, with that, I wish you all had a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Hasta mañana, because I'm going inside to have a fría cerveza. Even in the hard time,